Welcome back to Maths with Mrs. J. We've been learning about probability, and so far we've only talked about doing one thing. So tossing one coin or rolling one die or taking one ball out of a bag of different coloured balls. We need to be able to start to think about what would happen or what our outcomes could be if we're doing something more than once, or maybe even doing two different things. We might be tossing a coin and rolling a die. This brings me to tree diagrams. Tree diagrams are a great way of helping you list all the possible outcomes. They can also be useful in helping you work out the probabilities, even if those outcomes are not equally likely. Here's an example where the outcomes each time are equally likely. Well, under normal circumstances anyway. If you have a coin, the probability that it will land heads up is a half, as is the probability that it will land tails up. Now, this example here, we're tossing a coin 4 times. We're going to use a tree diagram, and I'll show you how to draw one, that will help us list all the possible outcomes. Now, it's called a tree diagram because literally it looks like branches branching out. Let's see how it gets started. So the first toss of the coin, you could have a head or a tail. Let's write that in. So head or tail. Then the second toss of a coin could have been a head or a tail. A head or a tail. All right, we're going to do that 2 more times. Let's just quickly get that drawn. And then we're going to be able to get a list of all our possible outcomes. Obviously, you wouldn't want to be doing this for tossing a coin 20 times because you would have an absolute mess. All right, so we're just going through and doing all our possibilities. Each time we toss a coin, it could be either a head or a tail. Okay, so going across, we're now going to list our outcomes. So we go up the very top branch and then we come down one each time. So head, 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 head is our first one. Our next possibility is head, 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 tail. And so on. So I'm going to list all these. There will be 16 of them. All right, so that's the first half. All right, so we have all 16 outcomes there. Okay, we've now got some questions to answer. This is where colours and colour coding really helps. And it's one of the few chances you get to use coloured pens or pencils or highlighters in maths. So make the most of it. All right, I'm going to colour code each of these. For starters, I'm going to put probability there just so that I don't have to rewrite it. And I'm going to colour code each of these situations. Okay, so the first one head and then 3 tails. Let's do that maybe yellow. So let's have a look through our outcomes and let's see which of them, if any, constitute 1 head and then 3 tails. Okay, well, it's only that one, isn't it? So it's only one of them. So what's the probability going to be? It's going to be 1 out of our 16. We've got 16 possible outcomes and only one of them fits the bill. Okay, all tails. Let's do a colour for that one. Again, having a look down all our possibilities. Let's see which ones fit the bill. All tails. Well, again, we've only got one of them that fits the bill. So the probability of that will also be 1 over 16. Okay, 2 tails and then 2 heads. Be really careful when you're reading these questions. This one means in that particular order. So 2 tails, let's see if we can find 2 tails and then 2 heads. Okay, well, there's really only one of those as well. So the probability will be 1 on 16. Now it gets a little bit more interesting. 2 heads and 2 tails in any order. Okay, let's maybe use orange for that. 2 heads and 2 tails in any order. Well, obviously that will count as one of those, but let's see what others we've got. 2 heads and 2 tails. What have I done? I did 2 tails and then, oh, that's right. No, that's okay. 2 heads and 2 tails in any order, so that's fine. That's got 2 heads and 2 tails. That's got 2 heads and 2 tails. So is that. So is that. So is this one. And no more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6 out of our 16, which is 3 on 8. Have our 2 heads and 2 tails in any order. Okay, at least 1 head. We might make that pink, just for fun. Okay, now we can go and start circling wildly. At least 1 head, but we'd be circling every single thing except this one. This is where I personally, we've already worked out the probability of all tails. I would actually just say it's 1 minus the probability of all tails. They are complementary events. Either you get at least 1 head or you have all tails. So we've already even worked that out there. So it's 1 over a 16, 1 minus 1/16, which of course is 15 on 16. You could, if you really wanted to, circle all 15 outcomes and put 15 on 16. But, you know, we've already worked this out and we should know that they're complementary events. So why not use that?